What's up? Joe here, proper first reseller. And I've got about $1,000 worth of orders to pack. Hopefully you can see it right over here on my phone. It is $1,020.91, 32 orders. I already did some of the bigger pre-packed stuff. I just left that stuff downstairs. So all that I have left is just the stuff that I still need to pack. So I had to bring it upstairs to my little packing station with my bubble wrap and all my boxes and all that stuff. So fun little challenge. We get to see how long it's going to take me to do $1,000 worth of orders here on eBay. So I'm going to take you along with me. And I thought while I'm doing these orders, I would go through some of the amazing comments from my last video and we just talk about them while I'm working. So it's both a speed challenge and just a hangout sesh, hopefully. So I've got the comments here pulled up on my last video. Here's oh God, here we go, throwing the items around. Don't worry, it's just expensive electronics, no big deal. You can kind of get a little preview of some of most of it is in this bin right here. And I'm gonna bring this up closer to my level here on this top shelf so that I'm not having to bend down each time to grab all these items. In addition to all those, I have a couple of Squishmallows down here and some other ephemera. So we'll take care of this stuff and get to it. So, 2 Squishmallows, 5 Wii power supplies, 2 Guitar Hero guitars, and a whole bunch of electronic smalls, adding up to $1,000, almost on the button. So time's ticking. I'm going to use this YouTube video as my timer, so it's not like I'm going to set a stopwatch for this thing. So I should probably get to it here with the orders and all that. And we'll start talking about some of these fun comments. So this top comment here is from Ethan Loopo, my dude. Awesome YouTube channel, y'all should check it out. He's doing so well. Over 2,000 subscribers now. And Ethan Loopo also sells on eBay. He does clothing. He's hilarious. I wish I was funny like Ethan. Maybe one day, if I hang around him enough, maybe I can absorb his sense of humor, but he's really fantastic. Not only a great full-time reseller, but just he's fun to listen to. So a great YouTube channel for me. What I love to do, throw on a YouTube video, put it in the AirPods and get to work. And I'm like, hey, I've got 20 minutes where I get to focus and listen to Ethan tell me all the cool brands I would look out for if I ever were to become a clothing seller. Ethan does sell clothing, like a lot of eBay resellers. And I'm always wanting to absorb that knowledge, so I love that. Anyway, Ethan did leave a comment here as I zero out my scale. He said, Joe, I wanted to say thanks for sharing your genuine passion for a healthy lifestyle. I used to dedicate a good amount of time to fitness, but have fallen away from that over the past few years. Seeing you do it helped me kick back into gear. Nice, man. I've been getting to the gym. Oh, it's so cool. First thing in the AM before my work days and getting my creatine in, of course. I think the reselling community needs a lot more of this genuine health talk. So let me know in the comments if you agree. I definitely agree. In fact, I said in my response that I think it would be fun to start a podcast here on YouTube all about kind of the intersection of reselling and entrepreneurship with health and a healthy lifestyle and how to figure out how to do both. So yeah, let me know what you think, if that's something you might be interested in. In fact, I did say in my response that I'd love to start a podcast. And then I pulled up some AI Grok on my phone and I asked Grok, what should me and Ethan call a podcast about the intersection of reselling and fitness? And I especially love alliteration and puns. So the best I've found so far is flip and fit. So if we were going to start a podcast, but it sounds almost too close to fresh and fit, which is not the vibe I'm going for. So maybe we need a better name for this podcast. But yeah, let me know if you think a podcast would be interesting. I think it'd be fun. Ethan then responds, says, that sounds like a pretty good time. Here's a question I've been thinking about while wondering what we discuss on a pod like that. I've seen people in the personal finance space create an order of operations for what people that are new to the space should work on first. What would your health and wellness order of operations be? So, wow, obviously, already asking, just a great question to ask. So interesting. Kind of got me thinking. So I was just like sitting, I think I was just sitting in the bathroom, like on the side of the bathtub in the dark. And my wife was like, what are you doing? I'm like, just responding to Ethan real quick on my phone. But I love that stuff. So yeah, what would I do if I was going to give someone like an order of operations? First thing for health. So I think that my top two pillars for health would have to be kind of split. It's two pillars because I would almost divide it up into mental and physical health. Even though I do think that we're just a physical body, but our mind and our thoughts and even our feelings are so affected by our biology that they are very affected by each other. And so what I mean to say is I would split it up into mental and physical health, almost like two kinds of health, but they do affect each other, mental and physical health. Like, it's not like your brain is floating in a separate vat from your body. It's floating in a vat that actually is your body, and the chemicals that it has to work with are actually the chemicals that your body's able to produce. And so for mental health, I think the first thing that I would say on the order of operations, number one for mental health, pretty much the only thing I would focus on for a long time, is dialing in your sleep. I really think that for mental health, if you were going to choose one thing, for me personally, in my experience, to try to work on, it's going to be sleep. In fact, one of the people that I really look up to, his name is Kevin Kelly. He's just like a really interesting, independent thinker. And he was also the editor of Wired magazine, I think, for a long time. Let's see, I'm pulling up this disc here. Anyway, Kevin Kelly has a book of aphorisms, like small quotes. And one of the ones that's really stuck out to me that he said that I thought was really wise. These are all the quotes that Kevin Kelly has found himself repeating over and over to his kids and to other people that he mentors. And he said, if you're not sure what you desperately need, it's probably sleep. And that has really run true for me. If I feel some frantic feeling and I'm not sure what it is in the middle of the day, probably just need a nap. Or maybe for me, I can kind of meditate for a few minutes and get some of those similar feelings and effects. If you're not sure what it is that you desperately need, it's probably sleep. I think that's some pretty wise advice. And so number one on my list for mental health would probably be work on your sleep. So what does that look like for me personally? So I used to be able to get away with 6 hours of sleep, and I'm so bummed out. But sometime in the last couple of years, in my mid-30s here, now to late 30s, I kind of need more like 7 to 8 hours of sleep, I found, to really feel good. So unfortunately, that I have to just take the hit of one less hour that I get to be awake and enjoying my life. But if that's what it takes in order to be awake and enjoy my life, I'll do it. And I will do whatever it takes to get good sleep. And so I've actually invested quite a bit of money. So my wife and I, of course, bought, a nice mattress with good reviews on Amazon a couple of years ago. And that was really nice. And we have nice extra pads on top. And then even in addition to the pad on top for me, I also like a mattress cooling pad. So I have one called the Dock Pro by, I don't know what the name of the company is. I think they sometimes call themselves sleep.me. Sometimes it's Chili Sleep or Chili Pad. But the unit that I have is called the Dock Pro. And it's basically just another mattress pad that goes under you that you then has a couple of pipes coming out of it that you connect to this unit that you plug into the wall. And you can pull it up on your phone. You can set the temperature that you want your mattress to be at. And I find that is really great for me so that I don't have to worry about making the room super cold for my wife, who's sleeping right next to me in the same bed. Instead, I just have this little cooling pad that only covers half of our king bed. And I can bring it down. I like it around 70 degrees. And that way I can still have a light comforter and still be hanging out with her. And she can have the room nice and warm like she likes. But I'm actually nice and cold. And when I wake up, my back is actually kind of like refrigerated. And I've just been sleeping there. But I don't wake up sweaty ever anymore. It's really controlled that completely. So I think that something has happened in the meantime. Well, I've had this hard drive in storage because I'm hearing a rattle that I don't like, so I'm gonna have to put this back. Thankfully, this is only an item worth $3.99, so even if I don't pack this on video, we'll still hit that $1,000 goal. So I'm gonna set this aside. I'll get another better condition 20 gig hard drive for this customer. And this is not user serviceable, so unfortunately it has to go in the trash. So anyway, so I love my Dock Pro. I literally just have it now on a schedule on my phone where it just turns on around 10 o'clock by the time that I should be getting into bed. And it's just pre-chilled, so I can get into bed, especially when my mattress is on top of it. It kind of insulates and keeps in the cold. And my bed is just, it's like my whole bed is like the cool side of the pillow all night. Like really, it's incredible. So, like as my kids would say, it's divine. That's what Lucy would say. Let's see. I accidentally went back here. So sleep, man. As far as mental health, what I've found is that when I'm well rested, I have a lot more of a space in between the feeling that I have and me feeling the need to act out upon that feeling. So when I'm sleep deprived and I'm stressed, I become stressed a lot more easily. Whereas if I'm ready, if I feel like I'm going into the day with good sleep and I'm experiencing something stressful, I'm able to just notice it and notice like, oh my gosh, I can see that I'm getting stressed. What can I do about it? Maybe I can just even just putting a name to it can often kind of separate yourself from the emotion sometimes. And I appreciate that. But I just feel like I'm much more quick to embody that feeling and to just act out my stressed emotion like that. There's less of a gap there in between what I feel and what I act when I'm sleep deprived. And that can display itself in me, raising my voice at my wife or my kids or saying things that I wish I didn't. And, just acting stressed. Like, especially me, because I just happen to be the largest person in our house. Like, I think it's extra on me to be very aware of, like, controlling any aggression that could be perceived, something that I try to work on. I have a good buddy from Portland, Kevin, who was even taller than me, and yet he was always so good at coming down to people's level, just subtly. Like he would just kind of like he would never be putting his chest out in a way to intimidate someone. You could tell that he genuinely just wanted to connect and just didn't ever want his height to get in the way of a genuine human connection. I always really appreciated that. And he's just so aware of himself and the feelings in others, and that I always try to embody. Definitely somebody that was also very into mental and physical health. Actually, I think my buddy Kevin really helped accelerate, I think, my love of that stuff, of wanting to get into fitness and mobility and all that stuff. This is back when my wife and I had started this food cart, and the food cart was based on the paleo diet. So it really was all about health and wellness at the end of the day, and really attracted a lot of those people. So, oh, my phone is dead. All right, I think we're back here. I'm going to get back to these awesome comments. And so, anyway. Hey, we have a guest. Hello, I'm recording. Okay, you want to sneak in? Yeah, cool. No problem. So, let me go back to that comment here. I love that I can just record my phone. Okay, so here's the things that I do for quality of sleep, because I do think that it's just so important. I've got my mattress cooler. I use an air purifier that also is a fan, kind of supplies white noise, blackout curtains to keep it dark when I need it, and a white noise machine. So that would be the stuff personally that I found, and a nice pillow. I bought so many different pillows on Amazon, tried them out over the years. Finally, I found one that allows me to sleep on my back without my head moving back and forth. It kind of cradles my head, and so I can just sleep on my back, and I feel supported and comfy, and man, so worth it. So, the pillow was, I don't know, $40. I don't even know. And I probably spent another $15 on the pillowcase, but, certainly that mattress cooler is not cheap. I mean, it's upwards of like $1,000. But for me, if I'm waking up, multiple times per night, sweating, and then you just have to do the math of how much is a productive day worth in my life versus not. You can look at it from a business perspective of how much more could I earn, and that could probably get you there pretty quickly. Like, yeah, this is going to be worth it. But then just in the quality of life, like this is your life. Like quality of life is so important. And for me, sleep is just a number one return on investment. Even though you're just conking out, I don't like it. I don't like sleep. I'd rather be awake and enjoy my life, but I'll do it because it does help me be awake and enjoy my life. So anyway, that would be the number one for mental health. It's just sleep, 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 sleep. Get good sleep. Number two, what did I say? Oh yeah, set a goal for protein. Just general health. I think getting enough protein, supporting enough healthy muscle mass for your body is just almost universally good for you. Especially going into old age, the more muscle mass, the better. And really, as far as like protecting your joints, protecting your back, and so just feeding it with good, healthy protein. The blue zones are these areas of the world where people live for a long time. And one of the, community is a really strong theme among all the blue zones, people that live to be 80, 90, 100. And one of the other strong themes among these different societies and cultures in the blue zones of these long living people is that they eat beans. And beans, I think, my hypothesis, I've seen this hypothesized, it's definitely not agreed upon. My hypothesis would be that beans are a good, healthy, vegan source, accessible to anybody, a good source of protein. Of course, and fiber and complex carbs. They're excellent, but it's just a great way to get some of your protein in. I don't think it needs to be excessive. I don't even think it needs to be a gram per pound of body weight. Is sometimes that you'll see maybe bodybuilders throw out, and that gets somehow trickled down to everyone on Instagram. I think in extreme cases, 1 gram of protein per pound that you weigh could be considered, but you could have that and probably be totally fine. I personally try to aim for between 100 and 120 grams of protein a day. Not excessive at all, but consistent and making sure that you can just maintain the muscles that you have. It's way easier to maintain muscle than it is to grow muscle. So eating high protein, and then so for exercise and movement, again, I love the simplification that our bodies are just full of goo, and in order to stay healthy, you got to move around to keep the goo moving around. And I like that kind of simplified idea of what it takes to be healthy. And obviously, way more complicated than that, but you do have to move around one particular kind of goo, and that is your lymph system. You don't have a heartbeat in the same way to move that stuff, and that's kind of, the lymph is kind of the waste products in your body. So you gotta move to get that stuff moved around. So I think for health, one of the most amazing things you can do. So next up, so as far as movement, walking is just, for me, I think walking is just the best form of cardio, because it's just as effective as far as burning calories per mile as running, but so much less likely to cause injury. So you can go for a long walk, you can get outside, so you're multitasking, you can get your vitamin D, you can even be calling someone, strengthening your social circles. But if you're getting 10,000 steps in a day, you really are getting in a significant amount of cardio exercise. And what are you training for? I think you're training your body to move forward efficiently through the world, which is what you need, especially moving into old age. Knowing how to get up and walk it's fundamental, right? So let's see here. I got this Lethal Enforcer Super Nintendo gun. This is a cool one. This sold for $49.99 plus shipping. And you got me talking about health. I've almost forgotten I'm working on eBay right now. The speed challenge is, it's off the table. I mean, I'm still gonna get these items done, but man, this is not gonna be my fastest pack. I'm over here yapping about health, but man, there's one thing I love even more than eBay. It really is health and wellness, because the main reason I'm getting money, which is the main reason that I use eBay, is in order to continue to have a healthy and happy life. I love my life. I want to keep it going. I want to protect it. I want to make sure that we're financially secure in my family. So that's why I'm loving this eBay journey so much. But at the end of the day, it's about maintaining the health. So, I think my phone is turning off because I don't have charging. Let me get one of these chargers on here. Boom. That should help. This little replacement charging. Little doodad. Okay. Last thing I was talking about to Ethan Lupo. Again, such an amazing YouTube channel. Let me pull up this guy's pic again. Ethan Lupo. Subscribe. He's awesome. Okay, so anyway. I said that for supplement, as far as like basic stuff, basic supplements, this will be like $1 a day or less. Take a good quality fish oil. Just get whatever is on sale on Amazon. I would get zinc and magnesium to support health. These are minerals, but they're going to support healthy hormone production and also help prevent cramps at night. I think zinc and magnesium is great at night. Vitamin D, especially if you have gotten your blood levels checked and they're low, but like 90-something% of people have low vitamin D. So you can at least assume and just probably take a small amount of vitamin D unless you're just outside all day. And creatine. Creatine's the first one that I said, man, I cannot talk enough about creatine. I think everybody should definitely consider creatine. It is just, bang for buck. It is just incredible. So I've got a couple of broken PSPs here for parts that someone's interested in buying. Or not interested, they did buy. So I'm just packing them up. Two of them here. All right, anyway, thank you, Ethan, for that awesome comment. Got a bunch of upvotes. I think it's something a lot of people are interested in. Because I think at the end of the day, we recognize, especially people that are maybe in a job like this, that we want a job that's going to support our lifestyle. That is something that I always bring up, but the 4-hour work week was such an amazing realization for me. And the part that Tim Ferriss talked about, and this was back in college, this is over a decade ago now, well over a decade. He was talking about not delaying your happiness until later, if you can help it. Like, don't just assume that you're going to be able to enjoy your life at retirement, because first of all, that's not even guaranteed. I mean, sorry to, the first, obvious cliche I think about is like, you could get hit by a bus or something horrible could happen to you. You might not even make it to retirement age, right? But in addition, you might not be in the physical or mental state that you are now to be able to enjoy it. It's just not guaranteed. And there's just, that you only have so many years. And so I think that saying that you're just going to sign up for a career that you don't enjoy, like, obviously, I think I'm preaching to the choir here. I think I'm talking to other eBay people for the most part. Like, you guys get it, right? So that's why I think the health and wellness is so important, because we love our lives and we're just trying to keep it going for as long as possible. Let me pull up this shipping label here. Okay, anyway, thank you to Ethan Lupo. So cool. Let me know if you think we should start a podcast about health and wellness, the intersection with reselling, eBay, entrepreneurship, all that stuff. I think that'd be really cool. Ethan's hilarious. I'm hoping I can just absorb some of his sense of humor. He makes me laugh all the time, so I think it'd be fun. Someone else, so great. Great comment here. Malik said, you can tell you put a lot more work into editing this video, and it shows. Seriously appreciate all the value of getting to see how you think and process items. Tons of YouTube people talk about overall metrics, but not a lot about how to speed up the actual day-to-day tasks. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Super nice of you to say. I think on one of my YouTube channels a few weeks ago, someone gave me the best comment I have literally ever received. And they told me I reminded them of Summoning Salt, or the people that they watch on Summoning Salt, which is another YouTube channel that is just incredible, that focuses on video game speedrunning and the different storylines within those communities. And when you see the dedication in video game speedrunning, I think maybe you could start to understand what an honor it was to be compared So I was like, wow, thank you so much. That really is an honor. Okay, let's see. Looks like this one buyer bought 2 things, but not this one. There we go. Perfect. This is the Wii U gamepad charger. So yeah, and I love, and I know exactly what he was talking about. He brought up Summoning Salt, this other commenter, and I said, well, thank you so much. And it really is. I mean, I think Summoning Salt has millions of subscribers. I mean, really, it's an incredibly edited channel. It really is a benchmark. I think a lot of people copy that editing style of Summoning Salt. It's just, it almost created a whole genre of speedrunning videos just because of how popular they are. But just so compelling, the storylines, the way they tell the stories. But these speedrunners are obsessive, and I get it. Because I sat down, and I was kind of starting this eBay business, and I did the math, right? Like, I recognized if I actually want to retire doing eBay, and consider this. I want you to like maybe consider doing this little bit of back of a napkin math, maybe on your iPhone calculator or something. If you really want to retire at this, and you probably at this point know what your average sales price is, and you know what your profit is at the end of the day, hopefully, or at least rough ballparks, how many items are you going to have to sell to hit your retirement number? It's going to be a lot. Like if you were actually just going to sit your butt here until your family is financially secure, how many packages is it going to take? And like the answer is a lot. It's a lot, right? Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. You got to do the math. And if that's the case, and you're at the beginning of the journey, anything that you can do to improve that process, to get faster, to reduce the number of steps you need to take, you got to take advantage of that, right? I'm yapping. This is a phone dock, but I forget. Yeah, here we go. Hilarious. I even misspelled this title. This item didn't sell for years. It's a phone base. I don't even really try to buy or sell phones anymore. Like a home cordless phone base. Anyway, I wrote charger or charging, but with a CG instead of a CH. Like smooth move X-Lax. I'm gonna get some coconut water here. Little reminder to hydrate. Anyway, this sold for $5 plus shipping. Like it's barely profitable. It sat in my garage for years, probably. I bet I had this item for like 3 years or 4 years. So this is why we focus on sell-through rate, and this is a good lesson, but I'm glad it sold eventually. Just left it in my store. Didn't worry too much about markdowns or end and sell similar. I just recognized that I think this is a low demand item, and I'm just gonna sit around, and if I need the space, I'll delist it and donate. But until then, maybe I'll get the right buyer. Maybe I won't. But I'm gonna keep buying better stuff in the meantime. Hopefully they're not all duds like that. Let's see this one. Is there supposed to be an Xbox One power supply? I don't see this anymore. Maybe this one got canceled or something. So I'm gonna set this one to the side as well. It's an Xbox One power supply, but it seems to not be in my order, so I'm gonna move on. So this was amazing. I almost didn't list this item. It had maybe a couple of sold comps, and I was gonna have to list it as untested, but I just listed it's an old vintage joystick with one of these real old school connectors, some parallel or serial port, I have no idea. And anyway, sold for $19.99 within a day or two. Like absolutely amazing. So $19.99, sold for full price. This is gonna get, let's bump the microphone there. Get a little bit of bubble wrap and then go into a small box. Okay, so rid of my face there. Okay, gotta highlight another, amazing YouTube channel, Cassandra Solden. goes by Midnight Modern. She is exploding on the scene of YouTube. Over 2,000 subscribers. Just making incredible content. Relatable, funny, the editing. I don't know how she does it. Really incredible. Definitely so worth checking out. And she's doing it all with a baby on her back, literally. So she's doing all this like during the naps. Like this is the one time of her day where she could be taking a break. And instead she's like picking orders and making content for YouTube. Absolutely incredible. And yeah, and super relatable, and I think a great business person as well. So definitely worth watching. Another seems to be mostly clothing seller on eBay. And anyway, she said, absolutely fantastic. Husband, I learned a lot. There are things we were taking away from your process. Appreciate the content. Anyway, she's amazing. Glad I get to highlight her. Cassandra Solden at Midnight Modern. Check her out on YouTube. All of her videos are just absolutely blowing up. One of them is going completely viral. I think almost 30,000 views now. And it's called like the many stages of being a reseller. And it's incredible. You should check it out. Check her out. Anyway. Okay, yeah, another great comment here. Hey, this is Toy Mike from Tex Group. Awesome. Shout out from Tex Group. Referencing, of course, Tech and Sports has a Facebook group and a Patreon. You have to join the Patreon. It's like 30 or 35 bucks a month. And you get access to the Facebook group and all these daily calls. Toy Mike is in there, toy expert, great videos. Maybe this will help you. It's a small added cost, but not much. But I add, warning, do not open with sharp object stickers to boxes that have valuable items sitting at the top, like valuable plush or cores that are really close to the top cut line of the box. Cheap and fast. I just slam them on top, maybe like 5% of my boxes. Going on the top and bottom seam of the box. Keep up the good work. Totally agree. I'm so aware of that exact seam where you know people are going to be cutting down. I try to make sure there's a layer of bubble wrap or something there to protect from those blades. So that's a great tip. Thank you, Mike. I agree. Watch out. It's not something that I've come across in recent memory, but definitely something that I'm aware of. So maybe I've been able to so far avoid a lot of those, but great tip. And yeah, just trying to make sure that that item makes it to the customer all the way, as it should. Another great commenter and fan, ABC to EFG. H, surprised to see a house next to yours. For some reason, the other videos led me to believe that you were out surrounded by woods. Yeah, we have a lot of woods around us, but also, yeah, we're just like in the suburbs. So there are houses on both sides of us, but we're pretty lucky. There's a lot of woods as well. You get to hear a lot of birds. Okay, Mr. Exquisite has been commenting so much, so many amazing comments. I appreciate the support. Turn on the video and already received a tip within the first minute. I need 2 shipping stations. What a great idea. Haven't had this for a long time and you never not learn something new. Man, I so agree. That's why I love YouTube. Just trying to give back here. Thank you so much for the comment. I have all the tools to do so with extra label printers, scale and such. Your garage looks like my upstairs room packed. Yeah, man. My garage is overpacked, always on a mad dash to list more items so that I can clear up that garage, make it easier to move around in. But like I say, there's just a lot of great inventory out there. I keep wanting to buy it. So I do have a second shipping station downstairs. So that's where I already packed up a couple of $100 worth of items just before I walked up here and started recording the video today. And I did that at a separate little shipping station that I have downstairs. So what I don't have bubble wrap. I don't have all my boxes set up like this, but I do have multiple shelves already packed and full of boxes that I've already packed up. All my large stuff, like I've mentioned before, all my consoles, all my big, heavy, awkward stuff is already packed in a box and just labeled with a 4-digit SKU number. And so when one of those sells, I have a scale downstairs, and then I have a mini PC that I just found on Amazon. You know, it's like a mini, it's only this big, and it was about 100 or 120 bucks, but it had, I think, 8 or 16 gigs of RAM. I found that the Intel N100 processor was adequate for just, you know, using my web browser and printing labels and stuff, and it seemed relatively snappy. It's not quite as snappy as like this computer, which is a full-on gaming rig, but significant. This computer was $100. It's downstairs. I had an old computer monitor lying around and an extra mouse and stuff. So I just set up a separate shipping station. I bought a really cheap second label printer for shipping labels on Amazon, which is also nice to just have a backup anyway, but I now have it set up downstairs. And so I'm able to just, anyway, all this is to say, I set up this whole second shipping station because I'm currently working upstairs in our house. And for those larger items, I'd like to just keep them downstairs, pack them up, and then just ship them out. So I just am able to slap a label on it downstairs. That makes it easy. All right, looks like this Wii U gamepad needs a bit of a clean. Got a little microfiber cloth and just a little bit of rubbing alcohol. A little clean here. And this customer bought these 2 things, and they bought them in 2 separate transactions. So I'm going to go ahead and pack them both up, and then I'll need to go in and add that shipping label. This is the one time you do have to copy paste a tracking number. On Pirate Ship is in these cases where the buyer place their order across multiple orders. But I believe it's the same thing on eBay. You'd have to copy that tracking number and paste it in to that second item. That's what I'm going to have to do here. All right, that's looking good. It's still going to fit really nicely in this poly bag here. So yeah, Mr. Exquisite, you are the best. Thank you for the comment. And Ivan Drago says, awesome video. Glad I discovered your channel. You're giving some great ideas. Love that. The Ace Ventura little icon there. That's hilarious. Raincore Prime Games says, learn lots of helpful tips. Thanks for the video. Thanks. Wiggly Climb says, I appreciate the breakfast segment. Thank you. It seems like a lot of people enjoyed the breakfast segment. That's great. And I do love breakfast, and I love eggs. I almost see eggs like one of my main health foods that I try to get in on a daily basis. They just make my brain feel good, like make my brain fire. Like make it seem like it's firing properly. So we got a Wii Remote and a Nunchuk here. This sold for $15.99 plus shipping. Let's see what else. Anthony Solis. Oh yeah, another person who's been leaving so many helpful comments over the different videos here. Says, I feel the same way about playing games at 41. I played World of Warcraft in my late 20s and early 30s, and unfortunately I wasted a lot of valuable time leveling up make-believe skills and trades when I could have been doing real-life stuff. And I played one mobile game called MLB Rivals for about 10 to 15 minutes when I got off my day job to help decompress and relax before I start family time and Amazon eBay tasks. So yeah, it sounds like Anthony's got a lot on their plate. So way to go, Anthony. Balancing out a full-time job with the family and eBay and Amazon side gigs as well. So way to go. Keep it up and whatever it takes. I never shame anyone. I never want to yuck anyone's yum. You got to get those games, and if that's what you need to escape, being a parent is hard. It's hard to come home from a long day at work and then still be on call to a different set of people with an even different set of needs. I'm hearing screaming, but I think it's fun screaming. Even my own kids, I'm not sure sometimes. We do have one friend over as well, so there's an occasional new scream, and so that'll cause my my endorphins to rise for a minute. I'm like, is someone actually hurt? Or so you kind of learn your own kids' screams, and you recognize, no, you're fine. That's a happy scream. Whereas I'm sure everyone else just probably assumes they're dying because they're just screaming at the top of their lungs. But that's what kids do. They're being kids. Yeah, as far as what Anthony was saying, yeah, I think what Anthony was referencing was I was talking at the end of my last video about playing this amazing video game called Death Stranding a few nights ago, and I really enjoyed it while I was playing. But after I was done, I kind of had this feeling of, oh man, a little bit of regret. Like I almost wished I was doing something else with my time, and I don't experience regret very often. It's a very quiet voice, and it's easy to shove aside, but I did want to kind of notice that at least some part of me was regretting it and wishing that I should have spent more time stretching. I've got some sore spots in my feet and my knees, And if I had spent that hour really focusing on stretching today, I'd be feeling a lot better. But instead I was playing video games. And again, if that's what you need, it's just about balancing the needs. But there's a lot of voices. You know, I don't think that maybe we are even necessarily one voice. I kind of feel like I have to just hold court in my head sometimes and allow all the different voices to speak. The fearful voice, it's a lot like Inside Out, right? I think there's a lot of voices and I just need to give them all time to speak up. The anxious side that's there to protect me as well. You know, all those different sides I think can be recognized as trying to help you in some way. So I think recognizing that at least part of me was wishing that I'd spent some time, either quality time with my wife or working on leveling up, as we talked about before, leveling up my real life character and working on making my life the RPG and spending less time in the actual RPGs. So that's something I'm thinking about, I guess. I get it. I relate. But as a parent, it's tough. And especially as an introvert parent. And I'm so lucky that my wife handles so much of the on-call kid time. Because for me, that is exhausting. You know, I really have to learn to exercise that muscle and the muscle of patience as well. But being on call with kids and being a parent and having kids, you know, they have a lot of needs and then a lot of questions on top of that. And it's hard, especially as an introvert. So I get it. So would never want to yuck anyone's yum in the sense of like play the video games. And I've just been noticing these different voices. I'm just holding court because definitely there's some voices in my head that are saying, play the video game. That game's awesome. I just need to listen to all of them afterwards as well. So anyway, this speed challenge has devolved. I might call this like failed speed run or something. I don't know. Or how fast can I pack $1,000 worth of orders and then failed? Maybe I'll do that. Like challenge, how fast can I pack $1,000 worth of eBay orders? Failure. And this is a delightful failure because instead I'm just hanging out talking about health and wellness. I feel like with a bunch of buddies out there in the internet land as we're packing orders, and I'm still, while we're hanging out, chatting about stuff I love, and I hope that you're all getting some work done too. So over here, we're getting done $1,000 worth of orders on eBay. Just gonna get this stuff packed up and then go enjoy some family time with the family. I guess that is the main kind of time you have with family. All right, we got another Wii Remote and Nunchuk here. Also sold for $15.99. This one should finish out the bubble wrap roll just perfectly, very satisfying. The perfect amount of bubble wrap to finish. And let's change out this roll real quick after this. It's another $15.99 order. And we are continuing to average around 30 to 40 items sold per day on eBay at around $30 to $35 per item. And that has just been our sweet spot. And lately, I guess a little more. I think we've been increasing both of those numbers a little bit because over the last 90 days, we've been averaging closer to 1,400. Even though my goal is just 1,000. I think we're just getting a little better over time, a little more efficient. All right, so I need to get some more bubble wrap here. Change out this roll. Okay. That was a hard one. The tape stuck on my finger. I totally would have made it otherwise, I swear. Would have gotten it right into the recycling bin. All right, there we go. I'm gonna have to bring down my desk a little bit so this big fat roll of brand new bubble wrap doesn't touch my monitor there. A couple of downsides with this current setup. Also, the bubble wrap is constantly hanging down in front of my face with the monitor, but for now, it's been working pretty well. Let's see. I think I am missing a few Wii Remotes here. I'm missing one set. I think I sold one extra and sold one single pair, and this last buyer bought 4 pairs of these Wii Remotes. So I might have to run downstairs real quick later on. So I'll go back here. This is another broken PSP here. Sold for $23 within 24 hours. And I tested it, didn't work. Fixing PSPs is not my specialty, so just listed it as is in the 4 parts repair category on eBay. And some other expert, I assume, is going to take a shot at it, try to fix it up. So that's a win-win. So, look at that. Whew. All right, we're moving a little bit. Got a little bit of sweat on. Feeling good. Okay. So I have this lot of 10 Wii composite cables. Oh, it stopped recording. I think that's all right. Let's see. I think I'm gonna try to just focus for at least a few minutes here. Getting all this stuff done. So I'm gonna pack together a lot of 10 composite cables and a lot of 5 power supplies all together. And packed it up before. Should fit in this 10 by 8 by 6 box. So I just do a single layer bubble wrap here. Again, as Toy Mike was talking about, just to kind of protect, I try to make sure there's at least a layer of bubble wrap all the way around. Just to protect as the customer might be cutting it open. So just gotta layer these in there on the bottom. This is a bit of a tight fit, so I do need to kind of layer these in a bit more carefully. And all these go in. Perfect fit. So this total order is $36.98 plus shipping. Not bad. So yeah, next comment was really great, but we'll get to that in a sec. Let me stop recording so I can. All right, so yeah, this next comment was from Diamond Trail Ranch. And they said, it seems like when you have a system down, it's just a matter of inventory at that point, right? Just found your channel, very inspiring. So thank you for that. Yeah, I think so. Let me see. I think I might have said it more eloquently in the comment. In a way, it does get easier as I've gotten better, but it never feels like the systems are fully complete or figured out. Yeah, always a process. Yeah. I think you just learn new ways to push yourself, and you're always coming up against barriers. I don't think it ever feels like you've got it figured out. You know, I remember when I used to bike to school, bike to college, and I would get there so sweaty. And I thought that eventually, once I got in shape, I wouldn't be all sweaty in my class, sitting there in my college class, just like trying to recover, right? Just like sweating. And unfortunately, what happened, let me pull up this thing here, was I just kept pushing myself. Instead of, you know, after a few weeks, I did get more fit. Instead of getting to class and not sweating, I just got to class 30 seconds faster, or a minute faster. And I just found that I think I have the mindset that once I master it, I'm just going to figure out another thing to challenge myself with. It doesn't get easier, just the challenges just keep changing as you defeat the ones in front of you. So yes, I have continued to build systems. This is so squeaky. This is like the squeakiest bubble wrap ever. I get this recycled bubble wrap from American Bubble Boy, and it does have, you know, sometimes it has different colors to it or different textures. Like you can tell that sometimes it comes from different types of recycled plastic. Is there 100% recycled plastic option for bubble wrap, which I appreciate. And it's cool. So this batch just happens to be extra squeaky, but I happen to know that it's probably because whatever base plastic material this was made from as a recycled plastic product was just squeaky itself. So that's kind of cool. So I guess to continue to elaborate on what Diamond Trail Ranch was saying, like, yes, my systems are way more down than they used to be, but I just keep bumping up against new barriers because I just keep selling more items and pushing up against new limits. I'm hitting new 90-day sales totals and new 30-day sales totals. And so the systems that might work at a smaller scale don't work as well often at a larger scale. And so, yes, my systems were figured out for the scale that I was at, but as soon as that scale got easy, I kind of wanted to figure out, can I push it a little bit? And I am trying to be careful with this business, very careful, and not scaling in the sense of a typical eBay business. I'm not trying to increase my expenses. I'm trying to keep them extremely low. I don't want a warehouse. I don't want VAs. I don't want employees. I just want better items. I want sometimes more items. But I do find that 30 to 40 items is kind of my sweet spot of sales per day before shipping becomes too much, not as fun. So let's see, get this console here. So yes, systems have gotten better, but no, it has not gotten easier. I don't think it seems like it should have. It seems like it should make it easier, but I don't know. I just want to keep pushing myself, and I have continued to push where our business has been able to take us as a family, and I appreciate that. I really am grateful for what eBay has done for us. My God, this is the squeakiest. This is hilarious. I'm glad the squeaky bubble wrap got a second life. Phew. That is insane. That is so squeaky. Wow. Wow. Kevin Wilson. Wow. Next comment. You deserve every dollar that you make. Oh, that's nice. I would not want to sell electronics. It takes all kinds to make a world. I'm glad you're that guy. Oh, that's really nice to say. I don't know if I deserve all this money. Got a lot of privileges. Pretty much all the privileges. So I am looking forward to giving back in the form of this YouTube channel and just continuing to give back in general. Definitely part of my goals as we continue to move forward in this life. Just figuring out the different ways that I can give back uniquely to the world. And it's not just about taking, it's not just about making the money. I don't plan on taking anything with me. And honestly, I don't plan on giving any of this money to my kids that I'm trying to make here. I'm trying to use it to make sure that we're set up, that my wife and I are set up, and my kids don't have to worry about that. But then the rest of it is just, I see it as figuring out how I can help these concentric circles of my life, you know, looking close at my closest family, making sure that everyone's taken care of. And then the more money that I accumulate, the greater that circle can grow. And I can continue to look around me in my community at the greater world and say, what can I do with this money? And hopefully at a certain point in my life, if I get to the true extra credit, the true bonus level material in Mario, right, would be excellent if I can just hit that bonus level of life where I don't even have to worry about making money anymore. And my job becomes, you know, someone like Bill and Melinda Gates, who have dedicated their life to figuring out how to spend this huge, massive money that they've accumulated and attacking things like malaria and clean water and really looking at the problems of the world like the engineers and the scientists that they are and saying, how can we help the world the most with this money? Like, it's something that I really resonate with. So it'd be cool to get to that level. And even if I don't, similar goals here. As soon as me and my wife are taken care of, and I know that my kids are good, I start looking outward and I'm saying, what else can we do with this money? So pretty exciting. And I've just got so much energy for this business, you know, like feel like we're just getting started. See how long I can stay in this business. As long as I'm healthy enough to move boxes. It's not the most physically demanding job in the world, so. All right, we got a couple little squishmallows over here. And we gotta type in these model numbers, or sorry, these SKU numbers. Oh, awesome. This is shipping in the 4-ounce class. So light. I haven't shipped a bunch of these squishmallows. We bought a whole lot of squishmallows and been slowly selling off a few of these here. This was Leonard the Rainbow Mane Lion, 8-inch edition. Pretty fun. I love these squishmallows. They're functional plushies. They're so soft and squishy. They double as pillows. Very convenient. And this one other squishmallow is Benny the Bigfoot with Santa hat and Christmas lights. Adorable. Miss Lachey Resells, awesome. 3853 says, "Hi Joe, enjoyed the video. My favorite part was breakfast." Oh, breakfast is my favorite part of the day. "I've renamed you in my mind Mr. Kool-Aid Smile. Interesting seeing your processes. I know absolutely nothing about video games and accessories, but I've learned a little today. I do have a question." Weird error there, but I think it's good. "At around 55 minutes in, you revised the listing to update the quantity. Was that on a sold listing? I do sell similar for my own listing, but being able to revise and update the quantity to maintain the sold would be helpful. If that's possible and I didn't misunderstand, can you go over that at one point? I sell mainly books and media and often find a few quantities of the same titles, but at different times." Yeah, so I do think as a media seller, this would probably really apply to you. And I did go over it a little bit in my reply there to Miss Lachey Resells. So thank you so much for the comment. But essentially there is a setting. You have to go into your eBay seller settings and you have to enable a setting that says allow items to go out of stock instead of ending the listing or something to that effect. And I have it set to only apply to my multi-quantity listings. So if I have listed multiple of a listing, when I sell out, instead of ending on my store, it stays in my active listings on my store, but just with 0 quantity. So I don't think that it shows up anymore for customers when they search for it because it's not available to buy, and it still counts against your store total. So your active listings are going to grow even though you might have still sold those items. Whereas typically when you sell an item, your active listings on your eBay goes down. This time they stay in your active listings, but it allows you to keep those items essentially indefinitely. So even if you get another copy of that item in 6 months, that same listing, if you've sold out and you have that setting enabled on your eBay store, you should just go to quantity 0. You should be able to search that item from your active listings and then just update the quantity to 1 when you get another one. So that's a really, really cool feature of eBay. I really love that feature on eBay. Let's see. I got this Guitar Hero guitar. So I'm going to pull this up on eBay because it might be cheaper. I thought that I picked a bunch of other smalls. Thought so. Got a few more smalls to pack as well that were just behind me. We're in the home stretch. We got a few more items to pack here. And this has been fun. Fun to kind of read along here, these comments. I've been having so much fun in the comment section of these videos, so I appreciate you all contributing and sharing your journey. And this can be a lonely job at times. At eBay, we're doing a lot of the work alone, and I think that for me, that is when I work best. I think I do my best work alone, but then I still want to connect with people, maybe during or afterward. That's why I love listening to different YouTube creators as I work, listening to the different calls on the tech and sports group. It's good to just remember there's other people, struggling with the same stuff as us. That's always something that I appreciate. So, a couple Guitar Hero guitars here. So this was a big one. This is the biggest box that I keep in stock. It's a 36 by 12 by 4. It's almost always cheaper on FedEx, so I pull it up on eBay. Yeah, I was saving $4 getting an eBay shipping label here instead of buying this particular one on Pirate Ship. Just because Pirate Ship, I guess, does not have a relationship with FedEx. So all right, I'm gonna pause this. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We really only have a few more items. I got that one missing Wii Remote and Nunchuk, and let me go close the door here real quick. Hilarious. It's so funny how you just normalize to such a loud house as a parent. It's like so loud. And we have, as I mentioned before, we have one extra kid, and she is so sweet and so quiet. I don't think she's adding much to the noise. It's just even new noises out there. It's pretty funny. All happy ones today, thankfully. Even having a fun play date out there. Okay, let's see if we got any more. I mean, there were just so many great comments. I'm so glad I just get to just scroll around here. It's John. It's John Don YouTube said, I would have never made that meal for myself in 500 years living, LOL. I'm sure it's good if you like kimchi. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I made a meal in the last video and I just slapped a bunch of kimchi over my eggs. That's the way I like it, but I get it. Probably not for everyone. Probably not for most people, actually. All right, so these are gonna go in a 10 by 4 box. Boom. One of these just dropped out. What the heck? One of the nunchucks just fell out of its little bubble wrap roll. I gotta rewrap the burrito. Okay, this one. Lucas Pip said, where do you source your inventory? That is a question that and I'm sure a lot of content creators get a lot. Unfortunately, again, like a lot of reselling content creators, I don't share my exact sources, but I will continue to make more videos about sourcing strategies and I think talking about just my general journey, where I did start off sourcing at thrift stores, local thrift stores and garage sales. And I did that for a year or two. And then eventually I transitioned to shopping pretty much only at the Goodwill bins and waking up early and standing in line and shopping at the Goodwill bins. And that's where I learned to really focus in on electronics. And now currently I just have essentially relationships with business vendors all over Texas. And I'm able to get this stuff in the quantities that I need or in bulk. So just try to figure out who has the stuff that I need in bulk and why would they want to sell it to me? I mean, you got to think business to business. You know, why would they want to sell it to me? Why do they care? In business, everybody's trying to make money. So I think part of your pitch, if you're looking to buy inventory from someone, needs to include how it benefits them, you know? Not just like, hi, I like buying really great stuff for cheap prices. And it's like, yeah, everyone does. Like, we're all here to make money. Like, why do I want to sell it to you? Like, why would I sell this stuff to you? And maybe you're consistent. Maybe you say, I'll buy all of your X and I'll take all of these off your hands. You know, I think it's good to be the person for a certain category in people's minds. And then it might start to become a connection where people think of you and they have really high quality inventory. And that's the dream. People start calling you and saying, hey, I've got this really excellent inventory. Will you check it out? So anyway, I mean, again, the reason it just doesn't make sense to share the exact sources is if I'm sharing this to a public audience and all it takes is a few competitors to maybe increase the price that I have to pay, but maybe thousands or tens of thousands per year. And yeah, anyway, doesn't exactly make sense. Increased competition in my exact niche. Oh my gosh, the kids are pranking us. They just changed all the lights in the house to red for some reason. They're probably having a dance party. All right, so I have 4 more items left, but I forgot to get a replacement for that 20 gig hard drive, but that will still get to $1,000 in orders, even if I don't pack that. I'm not gonna worry too much about that one particular one. Let's see here. This is a 320 gig hard drive for the Xbox 360 Slim and E, and it sold for $24.99 plus shipping. All right, so I just need to refresh. Oh yeah, actually, all that I have left is just this guitar and then that 20 gig hard drive. And I'm not going to worry about the hard drive, so once I pack this guitar, I'm done. So this is our last item of the day here. So fun. Glad you all could join me for a little packing sesh here. So this one is also probably, the box is too large to ship USPS ground advantage. So that's why I go to FedEx, because often, I go to eBay to ship these labels, because often FedEx is the cheapest option. So I just separate the two halves. Give each a couple layers of bubble wrap here. The squeakiest bubble wrap in the world. In the dimensions. Now that'll be 1,000 items. Packed quite slowly, I think. We had fun doing it over here. We had fun. And that matters for sure. All right, there you go. Last bit of taping. Let's see, 3 pounds, 7 ounces. It's a 20 by 12 by 4 box. Oh yeah, FedEx, only $7.37. Looking good. Boom. All right, we're done. We made it. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the support, all the amazing comments. Let's keep it going. As always, I will see you in the comments. Peace.